One of the great challenges of faith is that God is often hidden from us. Most of us do not experience burning bushes or hear voices from heaven. We hope, we struggle, and then life unfolds in ordinary ways. Sometimes we wonder where God is at all in the middle of it. The Jewish mystical tradition offers another point of view. Maybe God isn't absent at all. Maybe God is waiting to be revealed through the choices that we make. Every act of kindness, every time we choose hope over despair, we make visible something that's hidden. We rarely know the full consequences of those choices. We make them trusting that they matter. All of this reminds me of a story that Michael Grossman told me, which turns out to be one of the most famous stories in baseball history. In June of 1925, the New York Yankees' first baseman, Wally Pipp, woke up with a terrible headache. Pipp was one of the best players in baseball. He had helped the Yankees win pennants and was respected throughout the league. But that morning he didn't feel well. He went to the manager, Miller Huggins, and asked if he could sit out the game. An absolutely ordinary decision. He had a headache, he missed one game, no big deal. The truth is that almost every important decision in our lives feels ordinary while we're making it. We don't hear dramatic music in the background. We don't know that history is turning. We make the best decision that we can with the information we have at the time. The future remains hidden and unwritten. The Hasidic master, known as the Rebbe Rashab, taught us that if we wait for certainty before we act, we may never act. We tell ourselves that we'll become generous once we feel generous. We pray once we feel inspired. We'll volunteer once our life slows down. We wait for clarity before taking the next step. The Rashab believed that we have it backward. Judaism has never taught that action follows certainty, rather that certainty follows action. We become compassionate by practicing compassion. We become generous by giving. We become people of prayer by praying. You guys get the idea. We do these things before everything is clear. And this is why Judaism places such an emphasis on what we do. We never know what one conversation may mean to another person. We never know how one act of kindness may ripple through a family for generations. We never know how one difficult decision may shape our own character. God doesn't ask us to see the future before we act. God asks us to live and choose in the present moment. Wally Pipp couldn't see his future. He handed his glove to another first baseman named Lou Gehrig. He assumed that he'd be back in the lineup the next day. There was no voice from the sky announcing that baseball history was being made in that moment. It was the practical decision of a man who didn't feel well enough to play. So here's a classic Rabbi Levinsky surprise. I'm going to make a little turn here. The scholar, Elliot Wolfson, who I know, but if I know he's not a baseball fan at all, writes that one of the deepest ideas in Jewish mysticism is that God is both hidden and revealed simultaneously. Now that may sound abstract, but it's real. It's real in everyday life. We look for God in extraordinary moments while we overlook the ordinary ones. We imagine that God appears only through miracles. The Kabbalistic tradition teaches us the complete opposite. God's hidden within everyday life, waiting to be revealed through ordinary human choices. The example I often give in Torah studies, that piece of furniture right there was a piece of furniture. And then we said a bracha, and we lit candles, and we released what is holy within that piece of furniture by those actions. So every time we comfort someone who's grieving, visit someone who's lonely, give tzedakah, forgive another person, stand up for what is right, something of God's presence shines into the world. We may never know the importance of these. Like Wally Pipp, we can't see what tomorrow holds. But unlike Pipp, we're not called to step away from the opportunities that stand before us. We're called to meet them. When I thought about Wally Pipp this week, I didn't think about baseball, I thought about life. Every day we make choices whose significance we cannot see. At the moment we make those choices, we don't feel that they're particularly important. Most of them feel as ordinary as a headache. The hiddenness of God means that we rarely see where the choices that we make lead. We cannot see the future. We can't see the countless lives our decisions may touch, and maybe that's exactly why our choices matter so much. If everything were obvious, faith would require very little of us. If we knew the outcome of every decision, courage wouldn't be courage at all. The hiddenness of God is not simply a mystery to endure, it's an invitation to participate in the ongoing work of creation. God leaves room for human beings to reveal holiness through the lives that we choose to live. The tragedy of Wally Pipp's story is not only that he lost his position, it's that he never knew in the moment what stood before him. None of us do. The good news is that every morning God places new opportunities before us. Every day we're given another opportunity to reveal God's hidden presence in the world. So that Torah portion begins with one simple word. We finally got to the Torah. Re'eh, see. It's an unusual command. The classical rabbis say that Moses does not tell us to understand. He doesn't tell us to explain. He tells us to see. And maybe that's because seeing is one of the hardest things that we learn to do. We keep waiting for extraordinary moments while not seeing the sacredness of ordinary ones. The Jewish tradition asks us to see differently, to see every person as created in the image of God, to see every act of kindness as an opportunity to reveal something holy, to see every decision, no matter how small, as part of the work of repairing the world. We can't go back and change yesterday's choices. The future is unwritten. What we do have is the ability to reveal God today, right now. We do this with small, everyday actions. As one of my rabbinic mentors says at the end of every Torah study, let's go out there and do some mitzvahs. May the Shabbat give us the eyes to see those opportunities, hearts willing to embrace them, and the courage to act before we know where God will lead us. Shabbat Shalom.